So let's go ahead and look at the anatomy of an elbow. Okay, there are three bones that make that up. One is your ulna, which is the bone that's closest to your pinky finger. The other is your radius, which is the bone that's closest to your thumb. And the last is your humerus, which is your long upper arm muscle or bone. Elbows are tricky because let's go to the ligaments first. Okay. Elbows are tricky because look at all of the structures that have to keep your elbow stable. Okay, if we turn, we see that there's a lot of little ligaments in here that we need to keep them in place. Okay, that's something called a bursa. Okay, bursa are just little fluid-filled sacs that help muscles glide over bones and otherwise really like bony prominent places, right? That's where your funny bone is. And you imagine if the muscle had to constantly slide over that, the muscle would get worn out. So the bursa exists to keep that a nice and smooth surface for your tricep to go over. So let's look at, we'll keep the bone there. We'll get rid of the ligaments. And we'll add in the muscles. Okay. So lots of muscles that make up your elbow. We'll zoom out. We'll stay focused on there. Okay. And you'll notice that that elbow, all of the muscles that start up at your elbow, and it's always a tough spot to zoom in on this because the body gets in the way. If we flip them all the way around, here we go. Okay, and we look at the elbow kind of from the back. There's lots of muscles that start on this little part of the bone. Oops. Okay, I like to call that Newark Airport. There's a lot of stuff that comes in, there's a lot of stuff that goes out. Okay, and that's on the inside. If we look at the outside of the elbow, you can see again lots of little muscles that start on this bone. And these muscles all go down and they cross at the wrist. Okay, so there's extensor muscle groups and there's flexor muscle groups, and those are basically what move your fingers. There have to be a lot of them, and there's a lot of little muscles because our hands and our fingers do so much fine motor movement that there needs to be a lot of little muscles there. Okay, to contrast that, if we look at your glute, oh, hang on. Okay, your glute's a big muscle. Your glute does one pretty big significant motion, which is kick your hip back behind you, kick your foot back behind you. It doesn't do the dexterity that your fingers do. So it makes sense that there's a lot of little tiny muscles here at that elbow that have to do a lot of little tiny movements of your wrist and your fingers. They also, most of them cross at your shoulder as well. Okay, so if I took away a layer of the shoulder up there, you'll see that part of your bicep bends your elbow, gets your hand closer to your shoulder. So it crosses at two joints. It also does a little bit of flexion of your shoulder, so it brings your hand up in front of you. So the elbow's a tricky spot because there's so much that happens at it. It kind of serves as this junction where all of your muscles and all of your ligaments come together and cross over one another in order to give you function of your hand and your fingers. So if I show you real quick, if we put the nerves in there, let's get rid of the muscles. Okay, and your whole nervous system as a whole. It's incredible. Okay, but most importantly is up through here. You have something called your brachial plexus, and we won't get super into that. But the brachial plexus is like a rite of passage for physical therapy students, and it's this big bundle of nerves right here that all go down and innervate different parts of your arm. So if you have tingling in your wrist and your fingers, it could be because there's a nerve being compressed somewhere up near your elbow. Okay, and that can cause the numbness and the tingling in your fingers. So that is the anatomy of what happens at an elbow. It's an incredible structure. And hopefully that helps you understand what we might be treating you a little bit better. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Keep moving and keep getting better every day.